I wasn't supposed to be there that night. Not in the glass tower that scraped the bruised New York sky. Not chasing shadows of success in a world that chewed up guys like me and spat out the bones. My name's Finn Ellis, and back in Bar Harbor, Maine, where the lobster boats rocked gentle on the Atlantic swell and the air smelled of salt and pine, folks called me the quiet one. The kid with the sketchbook, always drawing lighthouses against stormy seas or the curve of a boy's shoulder in the summer light. Things I never dared say aloud. At 28, I'd traded the fog-shrouded cliffs for this concrete jungle, convinced that ambition could outrun the ache of who I was. Gay in a town where love meant shotgun weddings and Sunday sermons. Ambitious in a family where dad fixed engines and mom baked pies, both wondering why their boy fled to the city without looking back. But New York didn't care about your backstory. It demanded blood, yours or someone else's. I'd landed at Harlan and Associates 6 months earlier, a junior analyst role that sounded like a golden ticket. Paper pushes, coffee runs, and the thrill of watching fortunes flip like cards in a rigged deck. Wyatt Harlan was the king of that deck. They called him the Ruthless Wolf for a reason. Mergers that gutted companies, trades that left rivals bankrupt, a reputation built on boardroom battles where empathy was a weakness sharper than any knife. I'd seen him once, striding through the trading floor like a storm front, dark hair slicked back, tailored suit hugging a frame honed by dawn runs along the Hudson. 40 if he was a day, but with eyes like chipped ice and a smile that could seal a deal or shatter a soul. That rainy Tuesday, though, I was the shattered one. My boss, a weasel named Trent with a comb-over and a grudge, had cornered me in the server room. Your projections on the Sterling merger? Amateur hour, Ellis. Harlan's breathing down my neck because of screw-ups like you. His spittle hit my cheek, and something in me snapped. Not rage, but the quiet unraveling I'd been stitching together since college. The late nights poring over spreadsheets to prove I belonged. The hookups in dimly lit bars where I'd whisper, just friends to myself in the mirror afterward. I quit on the spot, words tumbling out like vomit. Screw this. Screw you. I'm done pretending I'm cut from your cloth. Security escorted me out, my cardboard box of desk junk, a framed photo of Acadia National Park, a dog-eared copy of The Great Gatsby, clutched like a lifeline. The elevator ride down felt eternal, the numbers ticking like a countdown to oblivion. And then, the lobby spat me into the storm. Wyatt was there, sheltered under the awning, phone pressed to his ear. Tell them it's non-negotiable, he growled, voice low and gravelly, the kind that commanded rooms without raising volume. He ended the call, flicked his cigarette into a puddle, and that's when he saw me. Soaked, shivering, box slipping from numb fingers. Our eyes met and time stuttered. Not pity in his gaze, no, something sharper, like recognition, like he'd been the boy with the sketchbook once, too. You Ellis? He asked, stepping forward, his Burberry coat brushing my arm. Rain beaded on his lashes, softening the hard lines of his face. I nodded, throat tight. Finn. Yeah. He glanced at the box, then back at me. Trent's an idiot, but you're an even bigger one for letting him run you out. No warmth, just blunt truth. He signaled his driver, and before I could protest, the Escalade's door swung open. Get in. You're not wandering this city like a drowned rat on my watch. I should have said no. Walked to the subway, nursed my wounds in some dive bar uptown. But his voice had that pull, magnetic and unyielding, and I was too broken to resist. Inside, the leather seats smelled of wealth and smoke, heated air wrapping around me like an unwanted embrace. Wyatt slid in beside me, loosening his tie as the car pulled into traffic. Why'd you really quit? He asked, pouring scotch from a crystal decanter into 2 glasses. His fingers brushed mine as he handed one over. Accidental, but electric. I took a swig, the burn steadying me. Because I'm tired of faking it. The numbers, the schmoozing. Me. He studied me then, really studied like I was a balance sheet he couldn't quite reconcile. Wall Street's full of fakers, Finn. The trick is owning your mask. Pause, his eyes darkening. Or burning it. We didn't talk much after that. The car wove through the canyons of steel and light, dropping me at my walk-up in Hell's Kitchen. As I stepped out, he leaned across, voice soft for the first time. Come back tomorrow. My office. 9 sharp. We'll see if you're worth salvaging. I lay awake that night, the city's hum seeping through cracked windows, replaying the brush of his fingers. Wyatt Harlan, the wolf who devoured worlds, had offered me a paw. What kind of fool turns that down? Morning came gray and unrelenting. I ironed my last clean shirt, shaved the stubble that made me look too much like the kid from Maine, and rode the subway downtown, heart pounding like a bad trade. Harlan and Associates loomed, all chrome and glass, a monument to men who bent the market to their will. Security waved me up, no questions, just a nod that said Wyatt's word was law. His office spanned the top floor, walls lined with abstract art that screamed money. Bold strokes of red and black, like blood on snow. He was at his desk, sleeves rolled up, tattoos peeking from cuffs. A wolf's head on one forearm, snarling mid-leap. "Sit," he said, not looking up from his screen. "Tell me about Bar Harbor." I blinked. "What? You're from there. Small town, big dreams. Classic American tragedy." He spun his chair, feet up on the desk, exuding that effortless power that made interns scatter. "I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Oil rigs and Bible belts. Ran away at 18 with a duffel and a chip on my shoulder." Sound familiar? It did. Too much. We talked, or rather, he drew me out like a confession. The lighthouse sketches I'd hidden in my childhood bedroom. The first boy I'd kissed behind the boathouse, salt on his lips and fear in his eyes. The way New York promised reinvention but delivered isolation. Wyatt listened, chin in hand, his gaze never wavering. No judgment, just a quiet intensity that made my skin hum. By noon, he'd rehired me not as an analyst but his personal assistant. "Someone's got to keep me from eating my own young," he quipped, signing the papers with a flourish. "Start with the sterling files. And Finn, don't quit on me again." The days blurred into a rhythm I hadn't known I craved. Mornings. Black coffee runs to the cart on Broad Street, where vendors called Wyatt Mr. Wolf, with a mix of awe and dread. Afternoons. Boardroom wars, where he'd dismantle opponents with surgical precision, his voice a velvet blade. "Gentlemen, your proposal is a house of cards in a hurricane. Rewrite it, or watch it fall." I'd watch from the corner, notebook in lap, mesmerized by the man who could command billions yet pause to ask if I'd eaten lunch. Evenings were quieter, stolen moments in his office after hours. He'd pour scotch, play old jazz from a vintage turntable, Miles Davis wailing like a soul in torment, and we'd talk about the market's brutality, the ghosts of our pasts. One night, as thunder rattled the windows, he admitted, "They call me ruthless because I had to be. After Tulsa, love was a luxury I couldn't afford. Men came and went, discreet affairs, no strings. Easier that way." I swallowed hard, my own secrets bubbling up. "I've never even tried. Back home it was sin. Here it's just complicated." His hand landed on my knee then, warm and steady. "Complicated's what makes it real, Finn." That touch lingered, a spark in the dry tinder of my resolve. I didn't pull away. Instead, I leaned in, our breaths mingling in the dim light. His lips met mine, firm, tasting of scotch and smoke, and the world narrowed to that point of contact. Wyatt Harlan, the untouchable wolf, kissed like a man starved, hands framing my face as if I were the fragile thing. We didn't go further that night. He drove me home, radio low with Coltrane's saxophone weaving through the rain. At my door, he murmured, "Tomorrow, Finn, don't be late." I wasn't, but as I stepped into the elevator the next morning, phone buzzing with a text from Mom. "Miss you, kiddo. When you coming home?" I wondered if I just traded one mask for another. Wyatt's world was a glittering trap, and I was already ensnared. The affair ignited like a short in the trading floor's wiring. Sudden, scorching, impossible to ignore. By week 2, Wyatt's office had become our sanctuary, the door locked against the world outside. I'd arrive with files under arm, but we'd end up tangled on the leather sofa, his body a map of hard plains and hidden scars. "You're dangerous, Ellis," he'd growl against my neck, fingers tracing the freckles across my collarbone like constellations, making me forget the numbers. I'd laugh, breathless, pulling him closer. "Good. Numbers lie. This doesn't." Wyatt was a revelation. In the boardroom, he was the wolf calculating, feral. In my arms, he softened, vulnerabilities slipping through cracks I'd never imagined. Late one night, after a merger closed with a seven-figure commission, he poured us champagne and confessed over the fizz. My first love was a ranch hand in Tulsa. Jake. Broad shoulders, calloused hands from baling hay. We met at a county fair, snuck off to the hayloft. Thought it was forever until his dad found out. Beat him senseless, called me an abomination. Jake chose family. I chose the road. His voice cracked on the last word, and I held him then, my cheek against his hair, inhaling the scent of his cologne. Cedar and citrus, sharp as his wit. You didn't deserve that, I whispered. No one does. He pulled back, eyes searching mine. And you? What's your Jake? I hesitated, the scotch loosening my tongue. There wasn't one. Just crushes on lifeguards, stolen glances in the high school locker room. Dad caught me once with a magazine, nothing explicit, just shirtless surfers. He didn't say a word, just left it on the table and walked out to the garage. Mom pretended not to notice. I left for NYU the fall after graduation. Never looked back. Wyatt's thumb brushed my lip, gentle. Cowards breed silence, Finn. But you're here. Speaking. We made love that night on the office rug, city lights painting our skin in gold and shadow. He was tender, reverent, kissing the scar on my knee from a childhood bike crash, murmuring my name like a prayer. Finn, he'd say, voice husky. You're the only real thing in this shark tank. But reality had teeth. Whispers started on the floor, Harlan's pet project. What's the kid got that we don't? Trent sneered in the break room, coffee sloshing over his mug. Sleeping your way up? Classic. But wolves don't keep lapdogs forever. I ignored it, burying myself in work. Wyatt promoted me to junior trader. A desk on the floor with 3 screens and a view of Lady Liberty's torch glinting in the harbor. Earn it, he said in the elevator, his hand grazing my lower back. Show them you're more than my shadow. I tried. God, I tried. Late nights modeling algorithms, coffee-fueled marathons where I'd text him progress shots. Nailed the volatility curve. Miss you. His replies. Proud. Dinner at mine. His penthouse in Tribeca was a fortress of minimalism. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Hudson, mid-century furniture in charcoal and teak. A kitchen where he cooked surprisingly well. Seared scallops with lemon risotto, paired with a Napa Valley Cabernet. We'd eat on the terrace, feet tangled under the table, talking dreams deferred. I want out someday, he admitted one starry evening, cigar smoke curling like secrets, a cabin in the Adirondacks. Woods, quiet, no deals, no wolves. I'd tease. You? Domestic? I'd pay to see that. His laugh was rare, genuine. A rumble that vibrated through me. With you? Maybe. The word hung, unspoken promise. Love. Terrified and thrilled. A high-wire act without a net. But cracks formed. A weekend in the Hamptons, his idea, a team-building retreat. But really just us. A borrowed yacht slicing through Long Island Sound. We anchored off Montauk, waves lapping like lovers' sighs. Skinny dipping at midnight, his body gleaming under moonlight. I traced the wolf tattoo. Tell me about this. He tensed, water beating on his chest. Reminder. After Jake, I vowed no weakness. Became the beast they fear so they'd never see the boy. I kissed the ink, salt on my lips. I see him, and I like him more. We made love on the deck, stars wheeling overhead, his whispers fierce. Don't leave me soft, Finn, but don't let me go hard again. Back in the city, the merger from hell hit. Sterling Foods, a Texas agribusiness on the brink, needed a bailout. Wyatt led the charge, his team a war room of suits and stress. I crunched numbers till my eyes burned, but rivals circled. Vanguard poaching clients, leaks to the Journal painting Harlan as the villain. They're saying you're gutting jobs for profit, I warned over takeout Thai in his office. He waved it off, jaw set. Perception's the game. Truth? I'm saving the company. 300 jobs preserved if we close by Friday. Friday came bloody. Negotiations dragged into dawn. Wyatt's voice hoarse from shouting down a smug CO twice his age. Sign or sink, Harlan. The man blustered. Wyatt leaned in, eyes glacial. I've sunk bigger ships than yours. Your move. We won, but at cost. Wyatt collapsed into his chair post-deal, face ashen. Call my doctor, he muttered. Migraine, the verdict, stress incarnate. I drove him home, tucked him in like fragile glass, but sleep evaded him. What if I'm the monster they say? He whispered in the dark, my head on his chest. You're not. I soothed, fingers in his hair. You're saving souls while they count pennies. He clung to me then, the wolf seeking shelter. But as his breathing evened, my phone lit up. A voicemail from Dad, voice thick with uncharacteristic emotion. Finn, we need to talk. Your mother's sick, cancer. Come home, son. The world tilted. Maine called, a siren song of salt and sorrow. I slipped from Wyatt's bed, staring at the skyline's indifferent glow. How do you tell the man who's become your anchor that your roots are pulling you under? I didn't. Not yet. Dawn broke, and I brewed coffee, masking the tremor in my hands. Wyatt emerged, tousled and tender, kissing my temple. Rough night, but we made it. Yeah, I lied, forcing a smile. We did. The lie festered, days blurred into deception. Secret calls to Mom. How bad? Stage 3. Chemo starts next week. I'd hang up, splash water on my face, return to Wyatt's side with fabricated excuses. Old college buddy in from out of town. He noticed, of course. You're distant, he said over dinner at Gramercy Tavern. Fork paused midair. Talk to me. Work stress? I deflected, the scallops turning to ash in my mouth. The sterling fallout. His eyes narrowed, but he let it slide. We're solid, Finn. You and me against the wolves. I wanted to believe it. That night, in his bed, I poured everything into touch. Kisses like confessions, bodies moving in desperate sync. I love you, I gasped, the words escaping unbidden. He stilled, then cupped my face, voice raw. Christ, Finn, I love you too. Been waiting for you to say it first. Tears pricked my eyes, joy and guilt twisting like vines. Love, real, reckless. But as he slept, I stared at the ceiling, Maine's shadow lengthening. How long before the truth devoured us? The lie grew teeth, gnawing at the edges of our world. Mom's chemo schedule arrived via email, procedures, side effects, a calendar of hospital visits in Bangor that clashed with every deadline Wyatt threw my way. I'd sneak to the rooftop terrace during lunch, phone pressed to ear, whispering updates. Hang in there, Ma. I'll visit soon. Her voice, frail but fierce. Don't you dare quit your life for this, Finn. We've got nurses. You focus on that fancy job. But the job was Wyatt, and he was unraveling my resolve thread by thread. Our routine deepened. Mornings in his kitchen, him in boxers flipping pancakes while I scrolled Bloomberg. Evenings tangled on his couch, binging old noir films, Double Indemnity, The Maltese Falcon, his commentary dry and spot on. See that? Fred McMurray thinks he's the predator. Always the fall. I'd laugh, nestle closer, but the guilt coiled tighter. Then came the gala. The Wall Street philanthropy ball at the Met, black tie and backroom deals disguised as charity. Wyatt rented a tux for me. Armani, slim cut that made me feel like a stranger in my skin. You clean up nice, Maine, he murmured in the limo, adjusting my cufflinks, his touch lingering. Inside, crystal chandeliers dripped light over tuxedos and gowns, air thick with perfume and power plays. Wyatt navigated like a shark in chum. Handshakes with senators, whispers with hedge fund titans. I trailed, champagne flute in hand, nodding at introductions. Finn Ellis, my right hand. The implication hung, loaded. Trent cornered us by the bar, smirk oily. Harlan, slumming with the help? Or is this the new merger? His eyes raked me crude. Wyatt's arm snaked around my waist, possessive. Mind your step, Trent, or I'll merger you out of existence. We escaped to the terrace, city sprawl a glittering sea below. Ignore him, Wyatt said, lighting a cigarette, the cherry glowing like accusation. He's jealous. Always has been. I leaned on the balustrade, wind tugging my bow tie. Does it bother you? The talk? He exhaled smoke, watching it dissipate. Bother me? Finn, I've built an empire on not giving a damn. Let them whisper. As long as I have this. He pulled me close, kiss fierce against the parapet. They can burn. We danced later, inside the cloistered hall. His hand firm on my hip to the strains of a jazz quartet. I followed, but in that moment I was his weightless, wanted until my phone vibrated. Dad. Worse today. When you coming? I excused myself, heart hammering, dialed from a shadowed alcove. Dad, Finn. His voice broke, the stoic lobsterman cracked. She's asking for you. Stories about when you were little. The sketches. I'll come. Soon. Promise. Back with Wyatt, the mask slipped. He saw it, the pallor, the distant stare. What's going on? We were in the limo home, partition up, his hand on my thigh. Family stuff, I hedged, staring out at blurred taillights. Nothing big. His fingers tightened. Lies don't suit you, Finn. If it's us. It's not. Panic flared. Just old wounds. He searched my face, then nodded, jaw tight. Okay, but don't shut me out. We're in this. Sleep evaded me that night in his penthouse. Sheets tangled around us. Dawn found me on the terrace, coffee cooling, watching barges slice the river. Wyatt joined, robe loose, hair sleep rumpled. Road trip? He suggested, casual. Clear your head. The Berkshires. Fall foliage, no signal. Tempting. Escapist. Can't. Deadlines. Screw deadlines. He grinned, wolfish. That's an order. We went. Friday after close, his Porsche devouring the Merritt Parkway. Windows down, wind whipping our hair. Leaves blazed crimson and gold. A New England postcard minus the pain. We hiked Bish Falls. Mist kissing our faces. His hand in mine unashamed on the trail. Remember Jake? He said, skipping stones across the pool. We dreamed of this. Woods, water, freedom. I threw one, skimming 3 times. What's stopping you now? You. Simple, profound. You make the dream real. Picnic under maples. Cheese, bread, a bottle of Pinot Noir. We made love on the blanket, earth soft beneath, sky vast above. Slow, exploratory, his body arching into mine with a vulnerability that stole my breath. Stay, he whispered after, fingers laced. Build this with me. Guilt surged, hot and bitter. Wyatt. Shoo. He kissed my brow. No pressure. Just think about it. Back in the city Sunday night, reality crashed. Mom's update. Infection from the port. Hospital. I booked a red-eye to Portland. Lied to Wyatt. Client meeting upstate. Back Wednesday. The flight was torture. Clouds below like the fog of home. Bar Harbor greeted with brine and bells. The harbor church steeple piercing the mist. Mom lay pale in her bed at the Maine Medical Center affiliate, tubes snaking like accusations. Finn, she breathed, hand frail in mine. You look tired. Lie, I joked weakly, throat closing. Dad hovered, eyes red-rimmed. The man who'd taught me to bait hooks now baiting silences. Brought your old sketchbook, he grunted, handing it over. Pages yellowed, drawings of waves and boys faded but fierce. We talked, really talked, for the first time in years. Mom's stories. My first steps on the beach. The time I married the neighbor's dog with seaweed. Dad's gruff admission. I should have said it then. About the magazine. I was scared, son. For you. For us. Tears came unbidden. I'm gay, Dad. Have been since. Forever. And I love a man in New York. But this. He squeezed my shoulder, calluses rough. Love's love, Finn. Doesn't care for labels. Go back. Be happy. We'll fight this. I stayed 2 days, sketching her portrait. Chemo-ravaged but radiant. Then flew south, heart heavier than lead. Wyatt met me at JFK. Unannounced, brow furrowed. Upstate, huh? Your client must be hell on wheels. Busted. The drive home was silent, tension thick as fog. In his lobby, I cracked. Mom's sick. Cancer. I went home. He deflated, pulling me into the elevator. Why didn't you tell me? Scared. Truth spilled. Of needing you. Of this ending before it starts. His apartment, we curled on the couch, his arms fortress. Idiot, he murmured, kissing my temple. I'm in. All in. Let me help. Relief flooded, sweet. We planned. He'd fund treatments, private flights if needed. No arguments, he insisted over takeout. Wolves protect their own. But protection has claws. Monday, the journal dropped. Harlan's hidden heartstrings. Insider trading whispers in sterling deal. Anonymous source, Trent, no doubt. accusing Wyatt of tipping trades for personal gain. Stocks dipped, clients called, the floor a frenzy. Wyatt stormed the war room, me at his heel. Damage control, he barked. Finn, pull the logs. Prove it's bullshit. Hours later, exonerated. Logs clean as a whistle. But the scar lingered. That night, over bourbon, he paced. They'll never stop. Ruthless wolf. It's my brand, my curse. I stopped him, hands on his chest. Then let me be your redemption. He kissed me then, desperate, bodies crashing like waves on rock. Love, fierce and flawed. But as he slept, my phone glowed. A text from an unknown number. Tell Harlan the wolf's pack is turning. Watch your back. A friend. Who? Why? Paranoia seeded, but I dismissed it. Wyatt was my world. What could touch us? The storm broke on a crisp October morning, leaves skittering like omens across Wall Street. Wyatt's phone rang at dawn. SEC investigators, warrants in hand, the sterling whispers now a roar. Routine audit. He told me over rushed coffee, but his eyes betrayed the lie. Haunted, the boy from Tulsa resurfacing. Wyatt. I reached, but he shrugged it off, knotting his tie with mechanical precision. Handle the floor. I'll deal. He vanished into a phalanx of lawyers, the office a hive of hushed panic. Trent gloated openly, cornering me by the copier. Told you, Harlan's toast. And his pretty boy with him. I shoved past, fists clenched, but doubt wormed in. The text from weeks ago, watch your back. Was it warning or threat? By noon, reporters swarmed the lobby, cameras flashing like gunfire. I fielded calls, soothed clients. Mr. Harlan's confident. Full cooperation. Lies all of it. Inside, I was fracturing Mom's latest scan. Tumor shrinking but fatigue, a counterpoint to this chaos. Wyatt emerged late, face carved from granite. They're gunning for blood. Need a fall guy. My stomach dropped. Not you. Not me. He poured scotch, neat. But someone's getting fed to the wolves. We worked through the night, combing emails, reconstructing trades. His hand brushed mine over a keyboard, grounding. Whatever happens, he said, voice low. Run if you have to. Don't sink with me. I won't leave you, I vowed, kissing his knuckles, scarred from some long-ago fight. Dawn brought betrayal. My inbox. An anonymous forward, time-stamped sterling negotiations. Wyatt's email to a consultant, offshore account. Phrasing damning. Wire the incentive. Discreet. My blood iced. Wyatt, explain. He paled, snatching the screen. Fabricated. Deepfake bullshit. Trent's work. Hacking my server. But doubt lingered, a poison pill. Why me? Why send it to your right hand? To break us. His voice cracked. Finn, believe. I want to. But the seed sprouted. That afternoon, SEC agents raided, badges flashing, boxes hauled. Wyatt in cuffs briefly, protocol, they said, before lawyers sprang him. The headline screamed. Wolf in chains. Harlan faces fraud charges. The firm hemorrhaged. Clients fleeing, stocks cratering. Wyatt holed up in the penthouse, pacing like a caged beast. Suspended pending investigation. He spat over takeout gone cold. My legacy torched. I held him, but words failed. We'll fight. Nights blurred into strategy sessions, his touch desperate. Sex like salvation. Bodies slick with sweat and unspoken fears. If I go down. He gasped one midnight, me astride him. No, I never meant to drag you. You're not dragging. I'm choosing. But choice eroded. Mom called worse. Come now. I booked a flight, confessed over breakfast. Maine. A week. His face shuddered. Go. I'll hold the fort. Bar Harbor was bomb and blade. Mom weaker, skin translucent, but her smile lit the dim room. Tell me about him, she urged, for dripping steady. Wyatt. The name a talisman. Strong. Broken. Loves me fierce. Dad nodded from the corner, thawing. Sounds like your grandfather. Fought in Korea, came back haunted. Loved hard anyway. We fished one gray afternoon. Just us. Lobster pots bobbing, seals barking offshore. Proud of you, son, Dad grunted, hauling a trap. For being you. Tears stung, salt mingling. Back in her room, Mom pressed the sketchbook into my hands. Draw him. For me. I did, on the flight south. Wyatt's profile, jaw set, eyes soft in repose. Landed to chaos. Wyatt's text. Press conference. Noon. Be there. The plaza teemed. Mics thrust like spears. Wyatt at the podium. Suit impeccable. Voice steel. Innocent. Baseless accusations from jealous rivals. Harlan and associate stands. Questions pelted. Offshore ties? Boyfriend's role? Boyfriend. Outed casual as a stock tip. Cameras swiveled to me in the crowd. Flashes blinding. Backstage, he crushed me against the wall. Kiss bruising. Sorry. Had to own it. Heart swelled. Worth it. But the anonymous texts resumed. He used you. Check the accounts. Attached. Bank statements, Wyatt's name, transfers to a Cayman shell. My hands shook, dialing his number from a coffee shop. Truth. Now. Finn. Static panic. Meet me. Penthouse. I arrived to cops at the door. Wyatt in the hall. Disheveled. Search warrant. They're pinning it on me. Inside. Chaos. Drawers yanked. Laptop seized. He collapsed on the couch, head in hands. It's over. No. I knelt, forcing his gaze. Fight. His laugh bitter. For what? The wolf's cornered. That night we clung, last stand, bodies memorizing. If I'm guilty, he whispered, tears hot on my skin. It's of loving too hard. You made me want more than the hunt. Morning brought arrest. Feds at dawn. Wyatt in orange jumpsuit, cuffed before my eyes. Bail hearing tomorrow, his lawyer promised. Indictments thin. I visited in holding glass between, his face haggard. Go to Maine. Be with her. Not without you. Bail's $1 million. I drained reserves on lawyers. Shame in his eyes. Sell the Porsche if. Stop. Kiss to the glass, futile. I love you. Love you more. Voice broke. Forgive me. For what? The blur of days. Protests outside the courthouse. Headlines devouring us. Wall Street Lothario's lover. Complicit? Mom's call. Saw the news. Come home. Safe. I resisted, crashing on a friend's couch in Brooklyn. Fielding offers from rival firms. Jump ship. Kid. Harlan's toxic. Trent's promotion announced. Interim CEO. Then the gut punch. Leaked audio, Wyatt's voice, wire it discreet. No traces. Grainy, but unmistakable. Heart shattered. Was it all a con? The tenderness, the promises. A long game to launder through his pet? I confronted his lawyer. Truth. Deep fake, she insisted. Voice mod. We're countering. But doubt festered. Alone in the sublet. Sketchbook open to his portrait. I wept. Rage, grief, the boy's ache from Maine resurfacing. Love, betrayed. Wyatt's bail denied. Flight risk. Trial loomed. A guillotine. Mom again, Finn. Please. I packed. Flight confirmed. Last visit, his eyes desperate through plexiglass. Believe me. I want to. But the door closed, and I walked out world gray. Maine swallowed me whole, the flight a descent into fog-bound arms. Bar Harbor streets wound narrow, houses clabbered and weathered, the air sharp with pine and sea. Mom's room smelled of antiseptic and chamomile tea, her hand cooler now, but grip fierce. My city boy, she murmured, tracing the sketch I'd brought. Wyatt's face, rendered in pencil strokes that captured his quiet storm. He looks at you like you're the horizon. Tears welled. He might be a fraud, Ma. Everything lies. She squeezed, voice threadbare but true. Love doesn't lie, Finn. People do. Give it air. Dad drove me to the cliffs, Cadillac rattling over potholes, waves crashing below like unanswered prayers. We sat on granite boulders, thermos of coffee steaming between. Your granddad, he started, hesitant. He wrote letters from the war, never sent em, afraid of weakness, burned most after, but one, about a buddy, lost in battle, said it broke him, but made him whole too. I stared at the surf, whitecaps foaming. Wyatt broke me. Or remade. Dad's hand on my shoulder, heavy. Go see the old light. Think. Acadia's Cadillac Mountain rose at dusk, trail slick with damp leaves. I climbed, breath ragged. reaching the summit as sun bled orange into Atlantic. The lighthouse below, Base Harbor Head, stubby and steadfast, blinked steady, guiding ships through dark, like Wyatt's eyes in memory, piercing, promising safe harbor. But harbors hide reefs. Phone died, no signal, isolation complete. Slept in a motel off Route 1, dreams fevered. Wyatt in cuffs, then free, arms open. Trent's sneer morphing to Wolf's howl. Woke sweating, dawn gray. Back home, Mom rallied for breakfast. Oatmeal and stories, her laugh faint but real. Draw me something happy, she urged. I sketched us. Family on the porch, lobster steaming, Wyatt beside. Illusory, but healing. Calls piled. Wyatt's lawyer, new evidence. Alibi witness. Friend in New York. Firms imploding. Trent skimming. SEC leak. Audio debunked. Synth tech. Doubt cracked. I plugged in, texted Wyatt's public line. Tell me everything. Hours later, video call. Riker's visiting room. Tomorrow. The ferry to NYC felt eternal. Ellis Island ghosts whispering of new worlds, old pains. Rikers loomed, fortress of concrete and chain link, guards barking orders. Wyatt behind glass, thinner, stubble silvering, but eyes alight. Thin. Truth. No preamble. He leaned close, voice tinny through speaker. The email? Forged. But the transfers? Real. Not mine. To Jake. Jake, Tulsa ghost. Your first love. Brother in arms now. After you, I reached out. Reconnected. Sent money anonymous for his kid's surgery. Offshore to dodge his ex-innocent. Why hide? Pride. The wolf doesn't beg. Bitter smile. Trent hacked, twisted it. Planted the audio. He's the leak. Vanguard's puppet. Proof tumbled. Timestamps. IP traces. Lawyers filing imminent. Bail hearing Friday, Wyatt said. If granted. I'll be there. His hand pressed glass, mine mirroring. Missed you. Thought I'd lost. Never. Kissed a palm, heart mending. Homebound, resolve hardened. Mom's strength waned. Hospice talk. Dad texted, but she beamed at my news. Go get your wolf. NYC thrummed, hostile now. Sublet to penthouse. Wyatt's key still worked. Space echoing his absence. Half-empty scotch, jazz records stacked. I cleaned, cooked, chili, main style with clams, awaiting. Friday, courthouse packed, press vultures. Wyatt entered, suit borrowed, posture unbroken. Arguments flew, fabrication, malice, judge's gavel, bail granted, conditions strict. Relief crashed. Outside, he crushed me in embrace. Public, unheeding flashes. Home, he whispered. But home was war. Trent's ouster demanded. Board vote, accusations flying. Wyatt, exonerated but scarred, faced the pack. Resign or fight, chairman urged. Fight. To me later. For us. Trial prep consumed. Depositions. Affidavits. Nights we'd steal moments. His body reclaiming mine. Slow and sacred. You're my fragile soul, he'd murmur, tracing my spine. Held you once. Always will. Mom's decline accelerated. Dazed Dad's call. I flew north, Wyatt insisting, go, I'll manage. Bar Harbor wintered early, snow dusting pines. Mom bedbound, lucid spells precious. Promise me, she rasped. Live loud, for both of us. I will. Sketch of her and Wyatt side by side, horizons merging. She slipped that night, hand in mine, breath easing to quiet. Dawn broke snow-glazed, Dad sobbed the only sound. Funeral small, church packed with fishermen, eulogies salt-tanged. Dad's words, she loved fierce, taught us to. Back in New York, grief hollowed. Wyatt held me through it, kitchen vigils, tears soaking his shirt. She sounds unbreakable, he said, rocking me. Like you. But the wolf bayed. Vanguard sued, countersuit brewing. Trent vanished. Fled to Miami. Whispers of embezzlement. Wyatt's board wavered. Step down. Save the firm. He refused, eyes steel. Not without vindication. Crisis peaked. Client exodus, Harlan and associates teetering. Late meeting, rain lashing windows, Wyatt paced. Sell? Fold? Fight? I echoed. His gaze pinned. For what? If I lose everything, you have me. Pause, raw. Do I? After the lies, the doubt. Yes. Step forward, hands framing his face. We both broke, but we mend. He shattered then, not wolf but man. Sobbing into my neck, body quake. Can't lose you. Not you. I held him, fragile soul in reverse, whispering, you won't. Dawn brought decision. Presser, full disclosure. Jake testified remotely, voice steady. Wyatt saved my boy. Hero, not thief. Stocks rebounded. Suits crumbled. Trent arrested in Florida. Extradited. Wyatt cleared, firm salvaged, but changed. One night, terrace under stars, scotch shared. Adirondacks? He asked, tentative. Now? Snow flurried. City muffled. His laugh, free. Spring. Cabin. You, me. Promise sealed with kiss, soft as forgiveness. Spring unfurled reluctant in the Adirondacks. Maple buds swelling against the thaw. The air crisp with earth reborn. We'd closed on the cabin site unseen. Timbered A-frame on Saranac Lake. Views of peaks that humbled even Wall Street's giants. Wyatt drove the rented Jeep north from Albany. Windows down. My hand on his thigh. Radio crooning Springsteen. Thunder Road. Anthems of escape. Think we'll make it? I teased, wind tousling his hair, silver threads catching light. He glanced, blue eyes soft. Already have. The cabin breathed welcome. Stone hearth, loft bed under rafters, porch swing creaking to loon's calls. We unpacked light, jeans, flannels, my sketchbook, his jazz vinyls, a bottle of that Napa cab. First night, fire crackling, we cooked venison stew from the local market, stories spilling like wine. Remember the gala? Wyatt said, spoon midway, flames dancing in his gaze. Dancing like fools, world watching. Best spotlight. I leaned, kissing his temple. Even with the fallout. Fallout lingered, faint scar. Harlan and Associates reborn leaner. Ethical trades, pro bono mergers for Maine fisheries. Nod to mom. Wyatt, no longer sole wolf, mentored juniors, his ruthlessness tempered to strategy. Trent's trial loomed summer, but justice felt distant here, irrelevant. Days wove lazy. Hikes through budding trails, boots muddied, hands clasped. One afternoon, by a beaver pond, he paused, tracing my palm. Jake called. Kids cancer-free. Thanks to us. Us. The word anchored. Back home. I'd scattered mom's ashes off Base Harbor. Dad's arm steady. Waves claiming her gentle. She'd like you, I told Wyatt later. Over FaceTime from the cabin. Quiet strength. Nah. She'd see the cracks. Love the cracks. Nights deepened intimacy. Loft tangled. Bodies familiar yet new. His whispers poetry. You're my compass, Finn. Pointed me true. Grief visited soft now. Sketches of mom by the lake. Wyatt modeling beside. Profiles merged. Dad visited once. Fly rods in tow. 3 generations unspoken. Casting lines into dusk. Good man. He grunted to Wyatt over beers. Holds you right. Summer beckoned, trial dates circled. We drove south reluctant. Cabin locked but heart claimed. NYC pulsed renewed. Firm thriving. Headlines faded to footnotes. Wyatt's promotion of me. Partner track. Sealed over dinner at Le Bernardine. Oysters and vows unspoken. But shadows stirred. Anonymous email, Trent's pleading. Names Harlan in plea deal. Paranoia flickered, but Wyatt waved it. Old ghosts. We're exorcised. Trial week scorched. Courthouse swelter. Trent's dockside Miami tan sallow under fluorescence. Testimony dragged. Hacks, bribes, his voice whiny. Harlan pushed the envelope. Offshore was his idea. Wyatt, beside me in gallery, hand squeezing. Lies. Cross-exam eviscerated. Logs, alibis, Jake's affidavit. Jury deliberated hours. Verdict. Guilty. All counts. Trent's glare as cuffs clicked. Venom but impotent. Outside, press mobbed, but Wyatt turned to me alone. Free. Always were. Fall returned, cabin calling. We closed the city loft, sublet, unburdened, driving north with boxes of roots. Mom's sketchbook, Tulsa photos Wyatt unearthed. Porch swing became confessional. His boyhood ranches, my lighthouse dreams. Pains aired, forgiven. One eve, Aurora faint. Rare southern dance. Wyatt knelt by the fire. Marry me, Finn. Not for show. For us. Rings optional, but this. He held a simple band, silver wolf etched. Promise. Tears blurred. Yes. Wedding small. Lakeside. Dad officiating loose. Justice of peace borrowed, vows wind whispered. I take you, fractures and all. Rings exchanged. Kiss sealed under alpenglow. Years folded. Firm evolved. Wyatt's wolf legend softened to mentor myth. I traded sketches for firm branding, Maine retreats annual. Dad visited, tales of Bar Harbor halls. Jake and family, Tulsa reunions. One winter, snowbound, fire roaring, Wyatt traced my ring. Regrets? None. Kiss slow. You held me when I broke. Taught me to hold myself. He smiled, boy glimpsed. Fragile souls, both. Life's not ledger, balances tip, but love accrues. In that cabin, horizons endless, we ran no more. Just toward each other. Wolves tamed, dreams harbored.